I want you to take a very good look at just how minuscule this camera case is. Okay? You've got it in your mind? Now take a look and compare the size of that camera case to the size of this box and how much larger it actually is. This is a new HD, well, not quite new, this is an HD high-definition camcorder from 2009. It's a Canon branded camcorder, and I've had very good fortune and luck with using Canon camcorders in the past. And we were already getting a sneak peek at just some of those items. We have here a genuine Canon power supply. Which model is this? This is, if these cables would cooperate, CA570S, which allows you, quite large, it's a power brick style. And now on the other end you have a barrel type connector which connects to the camcorder so you can charge batteries without removing them. I'm going to take a look here without revealing the main star of the show just yet. I want to build up suspense somewhat. We've got a Canon WL-D88 wireless controller, and these, I saw these selling for around $20 to $30, no joke. I'm surprised anyone would pay that for something like this, but I guess if they need it they would. We have here a Canon, yes, a genuine Canon battery charger. This is model number CG-800. And just like this brick, it's for charging Canon batteries for this type of camcorder. You'll see in no time at all. But this allows you to charge the batteries directly by the wall socket without having to drag the camcorder along and charge them while inserted into the camcorder. So I have two different ways I can go about charging batteries for this camcorder. We have an HDMI cable here. Looks to be a miniature HDMI. Yeah, I don't think that's micro HDMI. And there it is in all of its high definition 1080i glory. Well, no, that's misrepresentation right there, folks, because this is not an HD video camera I'm using right now, but it's an HD camcorder I'm showing nonetheless. And there it is. This is a Canon Vixia HF11 1080i full high definition camcorder from 2009. I'll show that in just a moment. Let me see what else is in here. Have a miniature USB cable. That'll be useful. And finally, what looks to be some sort of a no-name knockoff brand. Yes, Pearstone. PEBP819A replaces Canon. And this one is 1550 milliamp hours at 7.4 volts. Completely dead. Looks like it got its battery meter designed from Sony Info-Lithium M series batteries. Of course, the lighting isn't going to cooperate, but you can see if I press that, it does give you an indicator of how much battery life is remaining. So those are all the accessories I got. Genuine Canon chargers, USB cable, remote control, HDMI cable, and a non-genuine battery, which will prove to be interesting in seeing whether or not it actually charges, accepts a charge, and then retains said charge. Oh, and that's a pleasant surprise. I just noticed that this has a genuine Canon intelligent lithium-ion battery. So this is a 32 watt-hour battery. What does that say? 1700. Looks like it says 1780 milliamp hours. I'm trying to read it from the LCD screen on this camcorder. Comparing that to this no-name brand, which is a 1550 milliamp hour. Yeah. And go figure, this one's bigger than the genuine Canon battery. There are several series of Canon camcorders following this exact body style and design and layout. The Canon Vixia HF11, the HF10, which was a lower version of this camcorder. It only was able to record, if memory serves correct, 17 megabit per second HD video, and thus only had 16 gigabytes of internal flash memory. Then there was the Canon Vixia HF11, which was also an upgraded version, which had the same layout and design as the Vixia HF100 and HF10, but can record 24 megabit per second HD video, and thus accordingly has a 32 gigabyte built-in flash memory. So you can see HD CMOS, optical image stabilization. You have a zoom lever as well as a photo button for taking still images to the SD card or the internal memory, and what Canon calls a mini advanced shoe, which is for use technically only with genuine Canon accessories such as microphones or video lights, but they actually sell adapters on eBay and other places that just converts this little hot shoe into a regular cold shoe of the traditional size. You just snap it in place. Photo button to take still images to either the SD card, the internal memory, your power button, as well as an LED indicator light. And in stark contrast to a lot of the really cheap HD camcorders that are on the markets lately, this actually has a decently sized and comfortable hand strap, which is definitely a welcome change. I've seen plenty of camcorders that their hand strap consists entirely of just this little Velcro portion here, and doesn't really make for a comfortable nor secure experience. A miniature HDMI port and USB connections, which are hidden behind this flap. And if you're wondering what this little metal ring is for, which is attached to this hand strap, it's actually for use with an optional wrist strap, which I believe Canon included with all their camcorders new, but many people neglected to put them on. I guess they just didn't want to have something hanging around when it wasn't in use. The original batteries that these camcorders shipped with were rather low capacity, but were made to fit within the confines of the battery receptacle, if you will, and they were actually angled in such a way that they matched up with the camcorder's body style, but it doesn't bother me. I actually prefer to have a high capacity battery that sticks out, because nothing bothers me more than not being able to record video because your battery dies prematurely. You have an access and charge indicator. Open that up, you can see you have access to those two, and then gaining access to the 8.4 DC input is done so by removing this flap, which actually ends up getting in the way of this right angle DC barrel type adapter sometimes. You also do have an easy button, which does exactly the same thing it does with Sony Handycams. It just dumbs down the entire recording experience to make it simplified. You have a display and battery info button. Pressing it when the camcorder is powered off alerts you as to the current status of the battery, its remaining recording time, and its percentage of a charge remaining. You have a component output, which unfortunately I did not get the cables which would be used with this, but I don't think that Canon actually included them. You had to buy them separately, although I could very well be wrong. It's been a long time since I bought a Canon camcorder new. And something that was dropped in their Canon Vixia HF20 and HF200s that replaced this HF11, HF100, and HF10, and that is this little flap here which covers up the SD card slot from dust and other foreign contaminants. You just push this flap and it retracts out of place, and then when you're ready to record and you've inserted your SD card, you just slide it into place. And a very welcome change for me. There aren't any touchscreens. You have all of your recording controls as well as your playback controls: pause, forward, rewind, and then recording backlight compensation, zoom, and record start and stop, which are useful if you're recording a video or you're trying to record yourself in a video. You flip the LCD screen around and you can have access to all the various recording controls without having to strain to reach back here. And since there's no touchscreen, everything's accomplished in the menu systems and subsystems by way of this joystick. Yes, you do have an automatic lens cover, which automatically attracts when the camcorder is powered on. You have a flash for taking still photographs, the remote sensor, the LED video light, as well as a stereo microphone. The only thing I was a bit let down that Canon didn't go to the trouble of adding is a locator pin for the tripods. That's pretty much standard fare on a video camera, so you just have the threaded tripod mount, but at least it isn't plastic, so I won't need to worry about it stripping out anytime soon. And here it is. You can see that we have some various indicators on the LCD screen, as well as a view meter. I was surprised that it actually had an option to enable that. Your recording mode indication, which mode you're presently in. There's also indication of the currently selected functionality of the combo AV out headphone jack. In this case, it's set to headphones. Now you access all the menu functions by pressing this function button, which brings up some shortcuts for selecting your program mode, shutter priority, aperture priority, or cine mode, which just changes the saturation and color temperature of the video if memory serves correct. Some white balance settings, image effects such as vivid, neutral, low sharpening, some other custom presets, digital effects such as faders, art, sepia, black and white, and high quality. You can see that at the highest quality setting we are capable of recording 24 megabit per second HD videos, 17 megabits per second, 12, 7, and then 5 megabits per second. If we go into the main menu system, we'll gain access to some other features, such as selecting the frame rate. This is capable of not only recording 60i, or 30 frames per second video, also progressive frame 30 and progressive frame 24p video, but it records it in an interlaced avchd.mts file wrapper, so that does cause some troubles in some people's editing software, so you need to know how to handle progressive video that's recorded in an interlaced file, a feature that is going to prove invaluable for people such as myself who frequently have a need to record line level sources alongside their videos, a built-in microphone attenuation functionality. So by enabling that feature and then pressing this joystick in its centermost position, you get a shortcut menu here. It's used for enabling the LED video light, which is very bright, very surprising. If we press down on the joystick, we have access and control of the exposure, focus, and now the microphone gain. So if I press up now, I can adjust the gain in addition to attenuating the signal such that I can record a line level source into this microphone jack without distorting or overmodulating, which is quite impressive. The camera does not turn on automatically by default, which is a feature I actually fancy. I don't really prefer having the camcorder automatically turn on every single time I open the LCD screen, especially when you have to get the SD card out, but they just push the button to power it on, and then if you want it to go into standby mode to be able to resume recording very, very quickly, you just close the screen, and this turns an amber orange color, maybe even yellow, and then the minute you open the screen, it is ready to begin recording. It's actually a very nice looking camcorder as well, and decently equipped. The only problem I've noticed with this camcorder as of late is that the audio tends to distort ever so slightly when recording video. So I'll power this on, and if we get indication on the LCD screen in just a moment of the audio levels, actually looks like it has a decent amount of headroom remaining. But despite this, it still seems distorted when I play it back. It's not all that noticeable on cheap speakers or headphones, but it is there, and I've looked at it in various audio editors, and there's definitely some clipping that's going on. So the only alternative I've been able to figure out is to use the microphone attenuation feature, but that records a very quiet signal, and then I have to boost the levels of each clip manually in a video editor because it's too quiet and people will struggle to hear it. So I don't know what that's all about. Now what I'll do is give you some test footage from this camcorder to view and decide for yourself if it's a decent camcorder. I think it is, minus the issue with the microphone slightly distorting. The following video tests are going to be recorded at the highest video setting, 24 megabits per second, and we'll see how it looks.
This is probably the steepest set of stairs I have ever seen. I'm not looking forward to going down it.
City on Easter Sunday. There's the Mott. Right now we're in the inner court, which is where the emperor and empress's concubines lived. Inside that gate is the Hall of Mental Cultivation, Yangxin Dian, and the Imperial Garden, Yuhua Yuan.
I think we've got some other adults in costume. Come on up here. After they're doing the dance, so we're going to start some dancing right now. Is that right? Listen, we love you all. Thank you for your pictures. Thank you for your contributions from now and forever. And we're going to have some dancing. We're looking forward to it.